in my total account, I'm probably up like 18%. So that's really good for one day. I probably would have invested right here, right where it broke through the line. I probably wouldn't have invested back here, but that's just me. Don't do as I say, do as I do, or don't do as I say, do as I say, don't do what I do. Micro crude oil is low. I'm going long and sell at 70. Welcome back, Worlders. So today we made some money and I'm going to show you exactly how I did it, what my thought process was. So let's get into it. Okay, guys. So here we are. This is micro crude oil futures, and we made pretty good profit today. I would say I'm probably up, in my total account, I'm probably up like 18%. So that's really good for one day. And that was mostly just one trade. And I just let it kind of ride and we did well. So let's see the setup here. So as you can see, this trend line here was a nice bullish trend line. It just kept bouncing off this line here and kept going higher highs, and great. So now it just crossed this line. So now we're kind of like in no man's land. We don't know if it's going to keep going up, may go back down. I'm going to say, who knows? We'll probably wait another couple of hours, see what happens. But anyways, let's go back in time and see if I can show you how I did it. So if you look back here, so this is pretty much like yesterday's or day before's chart. And as you can see, it went down a lot, so I would probably say, it's high, if you scroll all the way back here, we have a high here of $70.51. And then we had a huge drop off. I actually lost a bunch of money here. I was actually up, my account was actually up, I started my account with basically $100. I've basically got it up to, when I was back in here, I was probably up to like almost $900. And now, and then with this big, huge drop off, I guessed wrong and it just kept going down. I thought it was going to rebound and it didn't happen. So, so I actually lost quite a bit. My low, I think, was probably 710. So, so I almost lost about $200, which was pretty terrible. And but I was on a good run, and so I was probably due. So here we are. This is the next day. It kind of consolidated and then it dropped even further down. And what I've noticed with crude oil futures is it kind of goes down like a couple of bucks. Like, its high was like in the 70s, and now it's low here is $67, almost on the nose. And so that's about $3, and that's seems like that's pretty average for crude oil. It seems like it ranges up and down about $2 to $3 on a regular basis. So, so I want to take advantage of that. So I saw it was down to 67. Now, could it go lower? Yeah, it could go a lot lower. It can go down. I've seen it 66, 65, but the odds of it kind of taking a rebound is pretty high. And so that's kind of what my thought process was. So here we are. So this is actually late last night. I was kind of dinking around and I noticed that, if you look at these, so I drew these trend lines here. So let's, I'm going to go ahead and erase them just to show you how I drew them on there. So here I was, and when I draw the trend lines, I just try to take the highs, and so we're just going to draw a dot there and basically a dot there, but I always go a little further out. So we're just going to go something like that. And then low lows. Okay, so now as you can see, I didn't have this trend line to begin with. So I actually took a gamble on this one, which, would I recommend? Probably not all the time. No, but it's kind of an educated guess, because when so if you look at this line here, so I actually invested right on this red candle right here, right where this blue area is. Now, did I know that was the low? No, but I took an educated guess because if you draw a line without even looking, I'm just going to draw a line perpendicular to this line. So if you just keep extending that line out where it's kind of a perpendicular with that line, look where that ends up. That candle is getting very close to this line here. That's why I kind of felt like, and there's a lot of mental factors too. So you got the $67 mark. That's kind of a mental factor as well. So once it hit that $67, I was like, I think we're gonna see a bounce off of that. And I was actually at the time just looking for a short-term gain, you know what I mean? So I was trying to be in and out, So I bought long at $67. So I basically bought right at this low here. And knowing that we had two factors that would prevent it from going lower. We had the factor that we hit $67, and we had the factor of this trend line. It'd be very hard for it to cross this trend line. So if it did, I'd definitely put a stop loss probably below this trend line here. And again, this is kind of like an imaginary trend line. I draw a lot of imaginary trend lines on my charts because a lot of times, it's not clear as day. You know what I mean? It's the by the time you see the trend line, you missed out. You know what I mean? And so I try to get ahead of it a little bit, and it seems to help me kind of understand the charts a little better, and kind of predict the future kind of thing. Not that I can predict. I don't have no crystal ball or anything, but I try my best. And so here we are. I actually bought here, and then I sold here, and so I think I want to say there was a lot of volatility right here. So I only made like, I think it was like $10 or something like that, So I think I was in and out, and I was out pretty quick, and I just made $10, and then I got out and I sat out for a while, and I saw it kind of spike up here, and then it dropped back down. So I was kind of happy with myself for getting out here, and then uh, as you can see, it was kind of choppy. And then once I kind of saw this spike here, I was like, that's a good bullish candle right there. And you see the little star of happiness here. I don't know what it's called, but it's if you see that little star right there on the bottom of a large candle, that is a very good sign right here. It's like you see this little, it's almost like a star, but not quite. But and then you have a large bullish or bearish candle, so that went down. And so when I saw this candle here, I was like, and we weren't, and at this point here, we haven't touched this line here for a very long time. You know what I mean? So look how long we went this entire time without touching this line. And we didn't touch it here. So that tells me there's more buyers than sellers. And so once I saw this green candle here, and like I said, I don't watch the charts, 24 hours a day. I'm kind of like just dinking around my phone, and every once in a while I'll look like an hour later. And so I saw this bullish candle here. It kind of peaked right here, and I saw it come down. Once I saw it come down, I was kind of looking at, I kind of drew another line right on here. So if you draw that line, with these low lows, and I went ahead and invested on this candle here. Now, is it close to this line? No, but you know, if you get greedy, remember I always tell myself, don't be greedy, right? Uh, a lot of times it never hits the line, and or if it does, it's not for a long time. So I went ahead and, I'm not buying at the high. I'm buying a little lower. So I felt like even if I bought wrong, it's not the end of the world. I mean, what's a few bucks, right? And so I went ahead and invested on this red candle. And then I guessed right, because it ended up shooting back up. And then it kind of went up. Now it did end up touching this line over here, but look, that where it touched this line right here is actually higher than where I bought way back here. So if I would have waited over here, yeah, I still would have made money? Yeah, I still would have done well, but I had to time it perfectly. I would have had to wait patiently. And again, this was late at night. I was fairly confident that it was going to do well. So I actually set myself a stop loss below this line here. And then I actually didn't even take a take profit line. I just went ahead and wanted to let it ride. Well, I slept. So here we are. We're gonna redraw this, and so as you can see, while I slept, it spiked up big time, and then it kind of consolidated again, and it spiked up again. Now, when I woke up, it was actually right about. It was kind of like in the mix of these candles right here, and and then I saw it. I'm like, and so I was thinking to myself, wow, it's real. That's a really large candle. And then we have one more candle here. And what I was kind of looking for was this this long wick here. So I was looking for one more spike here, and then a drawdown, and I didn't see it. It was like I kind of felt like it was going to keep going higher. And so I kind of held on to it. We had this big red candle, and I was like, okay, is this a fake out? A lot of times you'll get like a red candle and then a green candle, and then it'll spike back up again. So I was kind of hoping for that, but the signs weren't there when on this little star candle here. So once I saw that, I was like, you know what? I'm up like I think I was up like $120 at this point. I was actually the highest point I was up $140 right here. So I went down about 20 bucks, which kind of sucked, but it's better to come out $120 ahead than behind, right? So I just want to take a profit and call it done for the day. And so gosh, so here it was early in the morning, and I sold with a $120 profit, in addition to my $10 profit from before. So if you look at my account, I am up 129.50 for the day, which is awesome. And right now I got my net worth up to 847.37, which is great. Now we're not quite back to my high. The high was about 910, 908, something like that. So we're almost there. We made a big rebound today, so I was very happy with that. So my goal is to try to get to $1,000 by the end of the week. So we'll see how that works. So let's try this replay. Okay. Okay, guys. So here we are. I'm going to do the replay from the day before. And so this is basically kind of what I was looking at when I first started. We were on kind of a bearish trend. We had a high of $70.50, and then we lost a ton, right? We went down basically a buck or two, and then we kept going down. And I kind of noticed this little trend here, so I drew this trend line on these two highs right here. Now, what I kind of did was I drew another trend line down here. Now, this kind of went into no man's land all the way down. And because I don't know where this bottom is, because right now we're in no man's land. This could literally keep going on forever. I don't know if it's going to go up. I don't know if it's going to go down. We don't know. So so here we are, and let's see if we can guess where it's going to go. Okay, so as you can see here, we kind of kept going, kind of went up. Oh, and we had a nice little candle here. That's a nice little bearish star there, so it should be going down. Let's see if that happens. And it did for a little bit. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so this is about, I believe this is about where I bought in. Because, so if you see this trend line here, I kind of just drew it perpendicular to this trend line because usually they like to match up. So to me, that would be a spot of resistance. So another thing that I was thinking of was when you have a dollar amount that's kind of a psychological level. So you have, so right now we just hit $67.03. You know what I mean? So basically just touched $67. So that's a very good psychological level. So crude oil's been going from like 70 to 67 like all the time, right? So, and usually it bounces back. So my theory was it should bounce off 67 or bounce off this trend line here. So worst case, it'll go down this trend line. But me, remember, my word of wisdom is don't be greedy, right? So I don't want it to hit this line. So before I would like do maybe a limit order or something like that, like a buy order right at this trend line down here. But a lot of times it would get close and never hit it. So I went ahead and bought market. I bought it right at 67 or close to it. I can't remember the exact number I bought it at. So let's see what happens. Okay, so we had a nice little spike up, and then I believe this is where I sold it right here. So I sold it somewhere around there, and I think I only made like, I did kind of a small investment, so I think I only made like $10. So I was just hoping for a quick in and out, and that was it. So then once I got done with that, I think I was like watching a movie or something like that. And yeah, so we just kind of kept going. And I was just kind of just checking on the charts, like every half hour or so, and yeah. So here we go again. And right now I'm not investing in anything. It was just kind of like moving around. Had another big drop down. And then to me, this kind of looked like a consolidation right here. So we had a low right here. we had this big spike down, and then it stopped before we hit this low here. So I was thinking that, man, if we don't drop below this low right here, that's actually a good bullish sign, I believe. You know what I mean? Plus, you got the psychological level of the $67. You got a lot of upside, you know, because like you've been bearish for days, right? And so it's due for a rebound. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, so once I saw this little spike right here, I was like, man, that looks like a bullish sign if I ever saw one, right? Because you got the little star, right? You got the little star right here, and then a nice little spike, and then you got the little three little candles here that kind of go up. Now, and remember, we never actually touched this line down here. So as far as I'm concerned, this is a nice consolidation period where eventually it should break through this top line right here. So I personally like to be ahead of the game, not behind the game. I used to be behind the game all the time, and it's a lot harder to make money. You know what I mean? So I've been trying to get ahead of it. So I kind of told myself, okay, if I see this drop down a little bit, I don't care what price it is, I'm gonna buy it because I think that this thing could go all the way up to $70 a share. So I actually posted this last night. And this is basically when I invested in it. And I was basically like, micro crude oil is low. I'm going long and sell at 70. And so here we are. And this is basically right we are at the chart. And so my prediction is it'll go up to 70, but will it get there? I don't know. I actually, tell you the truth, I actually bought long. We made it, but I chickened out before $70. So let's go back. Let's see here. Okay, so here we are. So I told myself, okay, and I'm like, okay, if this drops down a little bit, I'm gonna buy it. So basically hit that line, and so I believe I bought it. I believe I bought it at this 3 o'clock time here. I don't know what time zone that is, but I know it was late last night, around like 8 o'clock or something like that. I can't remember. So I think I bought it right about here. So let's see what happens. Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think I bought at this red candle here. And so I saw it hit this line. I'm like, man, it's gonna bust through. And so I went ahead and bought long. And it's kind of late at night, like I said, and I just kind of wanted to let it ride while I slept. So I just kind of bought it. I put a stop loss, take profit, and actually no, I didn't put a take profit. I just put a stop loss. That way, if it spiked downwards, I was safe. And then I went ahead and let it ride, right? So I invested in it, and then I went to bed. So let's see what happens here. So we crossed over the line. Great sign. Now, if I were to recommend to anybody, I probably would have invested right here, right where it broke through the line. I probably wouldn't have invested back here, but that's just me. Don't do as I say, do as I do, or don't do as I say. Do as I say, don't do what I do. I guess you could say, but that's terrible. Okay, so okay, so here we are. We're on the upswing. Let's keep going. So this all happened while I was sleeping. Look at that, beautiful. So we keep going down. I think I actually woke up in the middle of the night and I saw this kind of consolidating right here, and but I saw where it was. It was at $68. So basically anytime it hits the dollar mark, like 67, 68, 69, it kind of consolidates a lot. And then, but I felt like it had a long way to go because this dropped so much. Like I said, it used to be at 70 and now it's at 67. So only going up like a dollar. That's really not that big a deal. You know what I mean? So I felt like it had more room to go up. I was in the green, so I had room for it to go back down, if that happened. So I just kind of went back to bed and let it ride, right? Okay. So it's still consolidating. Okay. Now we're getting some spikes. Okay. So I think I woke up. I think this is around like 7 a.m. or something like that. Uh, so I woke up. I saw this nice green candle. I was up close to, I think like 80 or I guess I was up about $70, something like that. And I was like, wow, should I take it profit right now? I don't know. Could this be the high or could it keep going? Now I saw this big candle, and so I just kind of watched it, and I wanted to see what would happen. And it kind of kept going up. Now, this is kind of where I got scared. So it kind of went up. I saw a big, huge candle, another big candle, but there's no top wicks, right? Usually you want to see that little wick right here. These wicks. Now that'll usually tell you that it's going to go back down. But I did not see that. So I was like thinking, man, is this a fake out right here? This big red candle? Could it spike up? And what made me nervous was that I was hoping that this red candle would have a nice long wick on it, like would be more like up here, not down here. And so when I saw it close down here and then it went even further down, I was like, I got nervous. So then what I did is I waited for it to come up a little bit. I had a feeling it was going to come back up, maybe retrace its steps a little bit. And then I went ahead and got scared and sold it, right? And I sold for it was $120 profit. Max, I was up here, I think it was like $140 profit. But right down here, I was at 120. Took my winnings and skedaddled, right? So, and let's see if my decision was correct. Okay. And yeah, so it did have a nice little spike here. That could have kept going up, but looks like that was a fake out. Then so it just keeps going down, 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 up, down. And that's it. So right now it is 4:40 p.m. Pacific time, and this is where we sit right now. So we're sitting at 68.13, and we sold all the way up here at 68.67. So could we have short sold this? Yeah, but I was just happy to be back in the green. I really needed this win. I was having a really bad week last week, and I just kept, everything I was doing wrong, and it was really choppy too. And when the market's choppy, I kept investing in the morning, which I probably shouldn't do. Because it was so volatile that it kept spiking up, spiking down, and then there was a lot of fake outs, and it just kept chopping me, and I kept losing, 20, $30 every time. And before I knew it, I was down about $200. And so now I just this one day I regained 130, so I'm really happy for that. And see if we can keep it up. So guys, what do you think? Do you think I did well? Let me know in the comments down below if you've done anything different, or if you have a different strategy that might work a little better. I'd love to hear about it. Okay, guys, peace out.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.